All right, I hope everyone can see that here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So as all of us know, when you first start, your first thought when you've realized that you want to buy a house, it's like, okay, where do I start? What am I supposed to do? So that can be answered several ways. There's not one direct answer that can get you to the finish line of becoming a homeowner. But I'm just going to go over my process with my experience that actually happened to me. So, where do you start? And my first suggestion would be to work on your credit. I mean, because anyone can go into a bank and apply for a pre-approval, and you might get approved, but you might also get approved with very, very high interest rates, and that's not something that you want to get stuck with becoming a new homeowner. So you definitely want to work on your credit so you can get better interest rates, lower monthly mortgage payments, of course, lower fee amounts, and definitely less stress when it's time to close on your home. And then save money for your down payment. You want to make sure that you have at least a percentage, 1% of the cost of the property paid up front, and that's the down payment that you would need to have at least saved when you are starting that process. I mean, there's other programs, of course, that you can go through, but I'm not going to get all into that portion of it right now that don't require down payments, but that's another workshop. But after you decide that you're going to work on your credit, the next step that I decided to do was choosing a realtor. Someone that you know and hopefully can trust. This is by far one of the biggest investments that we are going to make as adults. Somebody that you know that can advocate for you during the home buying process. You want to have somebody that you know is going to have your best interest at hand, somebody that's going to root for you and make sure that you get everything that you're looking for out of the home buying process and choosing the house itself. And then also let the realtor know what you expect from them. Don't, everyone has expectations. So you got to actually voice your opinions and let them know, hey, I need you to be available XYZ. And if they're not able to comply with that, that's okay. There might be someone else that may be better fit that will work better with you. So definitely let them know what you expect from them as your realtor. And then once you decide that's the relationship that you want, sign that buyer's agency agreement so that the agent can represent you. And then that'll be the next steps into after you get that your credit up and save a little bit of money, choose your realtor, walk into the bank now and get that pre-approval. And that's definitely the process of the you providing your income, debts, and assets to a mortgage professional. And then that's like an initial decision for your loan. And then after that, like I stated, go into the bank and get the pre-approval process going. And I was actually told this from one of my mentors from EXP today, that to do your due diligence, don't just choose one actual credit or lender or anything in that manner. Just kind of talk to multiple ones and do it within a week's time. And she said within a week's time because it won't hit your credit more than that one time. So that's just kind of a little nugget that I got from my mentor today. When you're going through that process, just kind of do your due diligence and call around and check different lenders' rates. And then once pre-approved, you and your realtor can definitely go through that home process and start looking at things that you like. But you also need to go over specifics with your realtor. Let them know the location that you're looking for. And by location, I mean, if you want your house to be by where you work at, or by a favorite gym, or by family or something like that, just let them know your specific location of where you're looking, the amount that you're wanting to pay, estimate an estimate amount that you're wanting to pay for your monthly mortgage. There's different types of styles of homes. There's ranch styles, single family, multifamily. Just let them know the types of home that you're looking for, or the type of home that you're looking for. And then me, of course, I know I'm looking for office space and a walk-in closet. So when I get to that portion of it, I'm definitely going to be putting that on my features as far as things that I'm looking for my house. And then I know some people may need the accessible features and, just specific features that tailor you and that makes it your dream house. And then, of course, choose your home. And then you can submit an offer to the seller. At this point, you would put up the earnest money, and the earnest money is a deposit that's made from yourself, which is the buyer, to the seller, and it's usually held by a third party, which it kind of leaves no unbiasedness between the seller or the buyer when it comes to. So they kind of put it with the third party to kind of put themselves out of it when submitting that offer. Double check to see if there's a timeline that the house needs to be sold, because in some instances, the seller has to either buy another house before they can move out of their house, or they'll give you 30 days to finish whatever repairs that you have to have done, or they won't sign the lease. So definitely double check and clear all timelines. Once the contract or once the offer is accepted, it goes under contract with the title company and the lenders. There is a 10-day inspection and period that the inspection of the property would have to be completed in. The lender sends over the appraisals, and if once all the green boxes are checked, all those checks are in those boxes, the closing can take up to 30 to 45 days for everything to be completely done. And congratulations, you're now a homeowner. So that's just a quick overview of the process. I know Whitney is definitely going to give you more information about the credit portion of it and other services, and then Sean's definitely going to take it home. So I hope I gave you guys a little bit of information. Whitney, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Put a 5 in the chat if you got some value from that, guys. I learned a lot just in that quick process about the home buying process, guys. Definitely communicate with your realtor. My wife and I can definitely articulate with that the experience of dealing with a realtor who actually listens, right? And actually, when you especially my wife, when she says she doesn't like something, that realtor's not going to show you the same home or the same aspect again, right? A good realtor. Now, other realtors, they're just trying to get a sale. So you don't want to get a realtor who's just looking to get a commission, guys. You want to get a realtor who actually cares, like Lakeisha, like Sean, many of my business partners. They're great realtors, and they also help out in the community. So I appreciate that presentation a lot. I'm actually going to build on what you actually just presented on real quick. So bear with me, guys. So yeah, real quick. And Lakeisha, give me a thumbs up when you can actually see my screen. Still loading. But yeah, guys, and it should load here pretty soon. Shouldn't be any issues there, but we're going to talk about how to structure your
credit report. I can see it. Sorry, I can't do the thumbs up, but I can see it.
You can see it now? Okay. Yeah, we're talking about how to structure your credit report for funding, because as Lakeisha was mentioning, you are now an entity looking to pursue funding from a bank, from a mortgage lender. You're looking for other people's money, right? That's what we call it on my team. We call it OPM because that's what credit is. So to be able to get that 3-digit GPA, that 3-digit number to be able to get OPM, to be able to get a mortgage house. So in order to do that, you have to have fundability. So what is that? That is your ability to meet lenders and credit issuers' approval criteria to qualify for financing. So as I've used the example before, I can't walk up to Lindsay. I can't walk up to Lakeisha and say, hey, give me $200,000, please. They're going to check my background. They're going to say, hey, what is your track record for paying people back on time so I can actually make some money, i.e. interest, and actually get my money back. No lender is going to give that money to someone that they don't have confidence that they're going to be able to get their money back. So what is your fundability as an applicant for a home, guys? So as Lakeisha mentioned, there's various steps in buying the home when you're looking to buy a home, guy. But look at number 2. What is number 2? The second step in the home buying process is to know your credit score, because as she mentioned, before you go to that mortgage lender, they're going to ask you what's your middle score. Actually, what's your credit score, but what's your middle score? They're going to toss out your highest score. They're going to toss out your lowest score. So knowing your credit score is very important to the home buying process. So in order, obviously, yes, you need to know your credit score, i.e. your middle score. Ideally, you need to know your debt to income ratio. Okay, the mortgage lender is also going to check that, your finances. So it's not just about credit, your financial background as well, and your down payment, because ultimately, unless you're in a program that we're going to mention later, unless you're in a specific program, you got to have some sort of down payment, unless you have a VA loan or something like that. So you definitely have to have the money available to purchase a home. What if you want to buy, you want to get the house painted, or you want to get furniture when you get in the home? So you definitely want to have that money saved as well, guys. So you personally, what's going on with your score? This is something you need to ask before you talk to the mortgage lender, guys. Don't have no idea what's going on with your credit. And like Lakeisha mentioned, they're going to run your credit. You're going to have a hard inquiry when they actually pull your credit. So why wait until you go into their office to get your credit pulled? You should know that ahead of time. You should know what you're going in there with ahead of time, guys. So many of us struggle with bad credit. 43 million Americans, and this is early 2019. So the numbers I've seen on Yahoo Finance recently is over 100 million Americans have less than a 599 credit score or less. So the funny thing is, you can still get a home with that, but as you're going to see later, you may not want to. So what credit score should you strive for? Ideally, if in a perfect world, Experian, one of the credit bureaus, says that you should have at least a 670 credit score when you're looking to purchase a home, because they consider anything under a 670 a subprime borrower. Now, as we mentioned before, you can get a home with under a 670 credit score, but when you have a 670 or above, you're actually in the driver's seat in the home buying process. I'm gonna ask my business partners to make sure that we're letting people on as they get on. Thank you for joining us, and make sure you line when you get on the call. Thank you. So take a screenshot of this, guys. How is your credit score calculated, guys? So you know, as you mentioned, once you go into that mortgage lender's office, you want to know your credit scores, ideally your middle score. So how is your credit score calculated? 35%. The highest percentage is calculated by your payment history. So how well do you pay back those credit cards, those auto loans, personal loans, anything that shows up on your credit? How well do you pay that back on time? A late payment, one late payment, guys, put a 1 in the chat. A one late payment could drop your credit score 50 to 100 points, guys. So at the very least, make sure you're paying your open accounts on time. Also, you may have heard from your grandma, your mama, your uncle, whoever may have told you that you should not have any credit cards. Welcome. And you definitely want to have a credit card, guys. Literally 30% of your credit score is dedicated to having an open credit card account. Ideally, two credit card accounts is dedicated to 30% of your credit score, your utilization. I would say a B score if you're, like I said, if your credit score is your GPA. If you want to be a B student, you want to have a 30% or lower credit card utilization. If you want to be an A+ student, you actually want to have less than 10% credit card utilization. So for example, if I treat everybody like they're fifth graders so everybody can get it. So if we're all fifth graders, right? If you have $100, ideally you want that credit card to be under $10, 10%. So when that reports to the credit bureaus, you look look credit worthy, you look credit fundable, and it looks good. If you have high credit balance, if you have $100 credit card and your balance is always around $100, you look desperate. You look like you don't actually know how to manage that money. So you definitely want to, even if you have a credit card or multiple credit cards, you definitely want to keep the balances low. Your length of credit is very important as well. How long have you been paying people back on time? Are you brand new? Are you credit invisible? Many of us are. Many of us have no credit, no open credit. And that's what they call you. They call you credit invisible. So you definitely want to have open accounts that are active on your credit report. New inquiries. Lakeisha mentioned that the mortgage lender is going to actually run your credit and it's going to be a hard inquiry. So you want to manage that. As she mentioned, you want to plan that process. So go in the mortgage lender with a plan. Okay, I'm going to apply or talk to 5 different mortgage lenders this week, like she mentioned, so that the negative aspect of the hard inquiry is nullified because you did it within a specific time frame, as opposed to once per month for 5 straight months going to a different lender. That's 5 inquiries that are harming you more than they should be. And then types of credit. You definitely want to have different types. You want to have credit cards, personal loans, home loans, ideally, auto loans. So different types of accounts definitely play a part, 10% as well. So hopefully you can see my screen, but yeah, as you go to different mortgage lenders, there's going to be different debt to income ratios that play a part. From my research, they generally range from about 36% to 43% maximum. So for example, once again, if we're all fifth graders, if you're making $5,000 a month and your monthly expenses are about $1,500, then your debt to income ratio is about 30%. And that's great. You're ready to go with a mortgage lender. If your debt to income ratio is actually higher than that, you can get a mortgage, but they will check into your finances a little bit more. They may ask for more information about your bank statements or your income or what have you, because they have to make sure that you, once again, going back to fundability, guys, they have to make sure that you're able to pay for that 200K, 300K mortgage loan. They want to be able to make their money back. They're evaluating the risk as you as a borrower. They're evaluating the risk. They would love to give you the money as long as they know they're going to make their money back. So your debt to income ratio is the amount of debt you have relative to your income for your mortgage payments. And they vary by the type of loan. VA loan generally is about a 41% maximum. FHA is generally about a 43% maximum. And as I mentioned, sometimes you can go higher than that. But what you can simply do in your own time after the call, you can calculate what your monthly income is. Maybe you and your spouse, if you have both of you guys are working and you're bringing income into the home, calculate your monthly expenses for your household, your rent, your car payments, credit card payments, school, private school, if you do that, all that stuff, put it in there. And let's see, student loans as well. Let's see what your actual debt to income ratio is and how you can actually nullify that ahead of time instead of waiting for the mortgage lender to tell you something that you already will know because of this presentation, because you attended this presentation. So middle scores needed. For each type of loan, they do vary. So for a conventional mortgage, you typically need a middle score of 620, guys. Okay, a VA loan, typically it's a 580. So if you are a veteran, thank you for your service. You actually do not need a down payment. So if you are a veteran, you can get a VA loan. My dad had a VA loan, and you are able to qualify for a home with no down payment, which is awesome. FHA, generally you can get a FHA loan for 580 with a 3.5% down payment, and then the FHA, with a 500 credit score. Yeah, I wouldn't say you should do that because you have to have a 10% down payment for a FHA loan with only a 500 credit score. So you definitely, as we mentioned earlier, with Experian, if you go into there with a 670 credit score or above, then once again, you're in the driver's seat and you're able to pay a very low interest rate on a high dollar asset, because you don't want to, as Lakeisha mentioned, you don't want to go into something like a home. Okay, this is, even if it's $150,000, $200,000. I know Sean, she sells houses 400K and above, you know. So you don't want to get into a house of that dollar rate and be paying a 10% interest rate, right? That doesn't make any sense at all. So why not take the time ahead of time to actually get your credit score in order so that you're able to pay a reasonable down payment, or not a down payment, but also a reasonable mortgage payment every month. So there are a few different local home buyer assistance programs. I didn't put any links or anything on this because obviously you can't click the screen, but do your due diligence. The city of Kansas City definitely has a lot of home buyer assistance. And this is Kansas City, Missouri. Lee Summit has a $3,000 home ownership assistance program. USDA loans. So when you talk to your mortgage lender, ask them if they offer USDA loans, because many of their programs have no down payment. The only catch is that they usually only offer these in rural and really suburban areas. So you may think of, oh, well, Johnson County suburban. No, that's still a very urban, popularized area. So we're talking about Platte City and beyond, those types of areas. You possibly could have a USDA loan if you want to purchase a home out there. State of Kansas definitely has a program as well. So does Leavenworth. If you've never heard of NACA, NACA is an excellent program that you definitely should look into, because if you qualify, if you become a member with them, there's no down payment, no closing costs, no fees. Really, all you have to do is attend a few classes. They check your paperwork, they check your financial paperwork and things like that, and you can actually become a member. I definitely wanted to give you guys more value on the credit side, because these are questions that I hear, or statements that I hear almost every day, right? Credit cards are for purchasing items you don't have money for. That is not correct. You should not be using a credit card to purchase something that you don't actually have the cash to match it, okay? Having multiple credit cards is bad for your credit score, not at all. You can have upwards of 20 credit cards, and if you're managing them correctly, as we mentioned before, that's only going to help your, what's 35% of your credit score? Your payment history. So if you're paying all these credit cards back on time, you have 20 credit cards reporting to the credit bureaus every month with positive payment histories. That's only going to continue to bump your score up more. Actually, most people who have 800 and above, they have multiple credit cards. Okay, so tell your auntie, tell your grandma that when next time they say don't get a credit card. Should you close old accounts to help your credit score? No, because what happens is that, so I've had to talk to a client earlier today. She just closed the credit card outright, for no reason. And what happened is that she lost all the positive payment history with that credit card because she decided to close it. So make sure, even many of you, maybe you paid a credit card off maybe a month or two ago, maybe a few months ago. You definitely want to put some more activity on that card. So for my ladies, go out and buy a purse or what have you to put the activity on that card, because the longer you don't have activity on that card, maybe 6 or 7 months, the credit card company is actually going to close that account. Because why? They're not making any money. So if there's no activity on the card, they're going to close it. And once again, you're going to lose that positive payment history. Negative items have to stay on my report for 7 to 10 years. No, they do not. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. Paying off a collection takes it off your credit report. This is probably the biggest myth or misconception. No. When you pay off a collection or medical bill or what have you, all that does is update the activity of that item, similar to a credit card. So all you do is update. So say, let's give you a situation. Say if you had a collection from 6 years ago, they're calling you saying, hey, we need you to make a payment on this collection account. You're feeling guilty, you're feeling bad. You make a payment. They say, hey, we just need $20. We'll take $20 to pay this collection account to keep it going. So what happened there is that in most states, I think in Missouri, the statute of limitations on debt is about 5 to 7 years. So what happened is they got you with the okie doke. They were able to get you to make a payment on that account to restart the statute of limitations on that debt. If you did not pay them, that debt would actually run out and they couldn't sue you after those 7 years, right? So do not pay these accounts when they're calling you. Call someone like myself, like Lakeisha, like Sean, and we will get with you with the right resources so that we can remove those items. You want them to remove. You don't want them paid as agreed or any of that. You want them removed off your credit report so you have a nice, clean credit report. So when you go in front of that mortgage lender, all they see is your name, your employer, and all your positive credit accounts. All 3 credit reports are the same. No, they are not. They are 3 separate entities, and they are not government entities. Many people assume they are because they have the word bureau in their name. They are for-profit entities, private companies, no different than anyone else. They actually make money off your credit report. So do not look at them as government agencies, or don't feel guilty about anything, any kind of dealing you do with them. They are for-profit entities, guys. And you may assume that my credit report is accurate. That is not necessary. 80% of us have some sort of inaccurate or erroneous or unverifiable item on our credit report that needs to be removed. So we all partner with a company called United Credit Education Services. So these are the services that we offer to nullify everything that we just talked. Because put a 7 in the chat if you are looking to purchase a home and you're not sure that you're going to get qualified, or you know that you're not going to be qualified. So these are the types of services that you're going to need, guys. You're going to need budgeting. As we mentioned before, you're going to need to know what's coming in and what's going out of the household. You're going to need negative items removed, most likely. You're going to need we've been blessed to be able to remove bankruptcies, to remove repossessions, to remove student loans. I had a client today. We removed 10 student loans from his credit report, guys, today, right now. I can call him right now if you don't believe me. So it can be done. Credit builder. So we're definitely going to help you build your credit. We have multiple ways to help you build credit as well. So we're not just a company that removes negative items. We have multiple accounts to actually build your credit as well. We have credit attorneys on staff, like the example I gave before. If you're being harassed by a debt collection company, we have a credit attorney that will fight on your behalf. We have our own credit monitoring service called Smart Credit, where you're able to produce your credit report at any moment and refresh your score at any moment. It's pretty different than most other credit monitoring apps, because most of those apps, you can only update your score once every 7 days or once a month. Debt payoff, as we mentioned before, your debt to income ratio is very important. So most of my realtor friends really like this tool because it helps our clients pay down that debt well ahead of time. So once we send them back to our realtor friends, they're ready to go. Financial lockbox. Just think about if you went out of town. I actually had a business partner who went out of town and went to the Bahamas, and she lost her passport, guys. So just think about that. If you lost your passport while out of town, well, with this tool, you're actually able to produce all your important documents at any moment on your phone. So she was able to produce her passport and get back in the country, guys. So that's definitely a valuable tool. Every 2 seconds, your identity is stolen online. Every 2 seconds, not yours. Now, I'm not speaking that in your life, but someone's identity is stolen every 2 seconds. So don't let it be you. Definitely want to have your identity protection, and that is included in the program as well. Net worth. Many of us we may have Google search Jay-Z or Beyonce's net worth, but what is your net worth? What is your household actually worth together, husband, wife, children? What are you guys working with? This is a very sobering, vulnerable thing to do, but it's very possible, and it's very necessary when you're on your road to financial freedom. Savings goals. So this is the tool that most people love, and when it comes to buying a home, buying a car, planning for a vacation, you can use this tool to plan for those different life events that are coming up, so that when it's time, you're well and ready and you have the cash on hand. Will and trust, which is probably my favorite tool, guys. You're able to get a will and trust in a credit restoration program. That's crazy. Do a Google search right now and find me another credit restoration program that you're able to get a will and trust, a health power of attorney, a financial power of attorney, and a trust as well in the same program, guys. I'll keep waiting. Youth financial literacy program, guys. So definitely we want to teach the youth about financial literacy and credit in a fun way. So we have multiple games and activities that the kids will be able to utilize as a member. And we have a scholarship as well. We give out over 10K to over 600K last year to high school seniors and college freshmen. Make sure you mute your lines. Oscar Williams, thank you for joining. But yeah, we give out lots of money to high school seniors and college freshmen across the nation who are pursuing higher education, guys. So definitely you want to partner with a company that is definitely giving back. We've been in business for 17 years, since 2004. So not a fly-by-night company by any stretch of the imagination. We have multiple professionals and agents over the country who are helping people like myself, like Lakeisha and Sean. Credit My Rent, guys. This is probably the most important thing I'm going to say all night, guys. You can get your rent on your credit report. So as a person who is looking to purchase a home, an easy way to boost your credit, like we talked about before, guys, having positive payment history. Just think about it. How long have you been renting? Have you been renting at this location 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years? Some of you guys been renting and putting rent money in your property manager's pocket for 10 years, guys. That could have been 10 years worth of equity. I'm not talking down to you. I'm talking to your soul. I'm trying to get you to realize, guys, that could have been 10 years worth of equity. So Credit My Rent, you're able to put your rent on your credit report, guys. So you're able to build that payment history and build that credit linked, that credit age. Because just think about if you're able to add 10 years worth of rent onto your credit report all at once, boom. All those on-time payments on your credit report, it's going to boost your score at least 40 to 80 points, guys. It's a no-brainer, guys. So definitely look into that with us as well. The single biggest difference between financial success and financial failure is how well you manage your money, guys. Many of us have great jobs. I know I got some people making big dollars on the line, but how well do you manage your money? You can bring it in, but how well can you keep it? Right? It's simple to master your money. You have to master your money. You have to manage your money. So in order to manage your money, you actually have to have financial literacy. And this is what we're teaching. This is what the program that we're offering gives you. We're just here to educate you. There's no pressure here or anything like that. We just want you to make sound financial decisions, and we have the answers in place to help you do that. So what happens once you go through the program and you have great credit? Guys, obviously you can get that new house you want, great interest rate on that house. You get that new car that you want, great interest rate on that car. Put a 5 in the chat if you knew that you can get a brand new car with no down payment, right? Great credit. You can walk into a car dealership with no money in your pocket. You can walk in there with lint in your pocket. You got great credit. You can get a brand new car with no down payment and walk out with a nice, beautiful Cadillac like Sean, right? great credit. Low interest rates on high credit cards and loans, higher credit limits on credit cards, guys. So you definitely can get more access to OPM, to other people's money, and you can get contracts without security deposits. So you can actually get into that apartment with no down payment as well when you have great credit. So that's my time, guys. My name is Whitney Morgan. I'm the Kansas City Credit Doctor. I'm so gracious and blessed to be on the line with Sean and Lakeisha, and we're just giving back to you guys, making sure you guys make sound financial decisions. You can follow us on KC Credit Doc. My name is Whitney Morgan on Facebook. Empowerment Solutions. We are here to empower you. That's a M-Powerment. And that's my time. I'm going to actually pass it to someone who has been a mentor in the real estate industry for me. I'm actually the godfather to her grandson. She's a family friend. She's someone that I've been in contact with for many years, always showed me a lot of love, has 20 years worth of real estate experience, guys. So she's a senior account executive and real estate agent and event planner and this and that, guys. She's definitely someone who is very vocal out here in movement in the Kansas City area. So we wanted to make sure that we hear from Miss Sean Page. Are you on the line?
Thank you, Whitney. Yes, I am. I'm giving it back to you as well as Keisha for a great presentation. I promise I learn something new every day, and each of you have given me some nuggets that I didn't know and that I can enhance my portfolio. And thank you, Lindsay, for a great introduction. I actually am, the last, so I will just kind of expound on the different things that Whitney talked about and Keisha, and just basically say the things that have changed in the market. Some have stayed the same. I will just say whether you're in the market for buying a home or selling a home, it's definitely exciting. It can be overwhelming. It does not have to be if you get in touch with a realtor, as well as a mortgage broker, as well as both things that I say that you need to check whether you're buying or selling is your credit. Know where it stands, because even though you're selling your home, you have to go somewhere. And that's one of the first things that I ask is, why are you selling and do you have somewhere to go? Because in this market, your homes are selling much faster than what they have been in the last few years. And if you don't have anywhere to go, then you definitely need to consider that before you put your home on the market. Like I say, as right now, it's saying that there is low inventory. We do have inventory, but it's just what you're looking for and how much you want to pay. That means a down payment, whether it's the 3.5% for FHA loan, 20% for a conventional loan, or nothing at all for a VA loan. But it's based upon how much house you can afford. And with that being said, my clients know the first thing I tell you, do not go to buy a house and become house poor. That's meaning your credit is in order. You still have money for that emergency fund. You still have money to go out and eat if you want, if you need to buy a new car to make car repairs. So consider your credit, how much you can afford and how much house you really need to buy. Just because interest rates are low does not mean that you go out and buy the highest possible house at your highest price point, because you will be miserable. So those are just nuggets that I like to share, just simply because everybody is overwhelmed. The realtor that you choose is one that can give you some information, because you come to them, say, hey, I don't know what to do to sell my house. I don't know what to do to buy a house. Can you help me? So they're counting on us, our expertise, to help them start this process and walk the walk with them to finish the process. So the first thing, whether it's buying or selling, is definitely contact a realtor. If you're buying, then definitely the process has always been to go to a mortgage broker and know what your credit score is. In the event that you do not want to go that route and you know that your credit is not where it needs to be, then that's what we're here for. You have UWE, I'm a part of that. Whitney, Keisha, Lindsay, any of us can help you to get started on that process. And if you have some room for improvement, the time is now. It's the fall season. If you didn't make the cut and can't do it this spring or this fall, it's time to work on your credit and get you where you need to be to own the home of your dreams, to become a homeowner. If you want to sell that home, it's nothing bad about that either. I mean, because selling your home, you have to go somewhere else to live, whether you're relocating out of state, whether you decide to rent for the next year and build your home, you have to have that credit score in place, your savings set back. And those are just things that I like to point out and not just make it seem like it's always, or an experience where you have things that you have to go back and look at and say, well, it's not about the money. It's not always about that. When you're getting ready to present an offer on a home, once you've done everything, checked your credit, once you've actually got in touch with a realtor or mortgage lender, and you're ready to start looking for a home, you start getting homes showed by your realtor. When you find it, don't put an offer on the first house that you see. Do some checking. Have your realtor pull the taxes, pull the mortgages, clue reports on that house to see, anybody can buy a house and flip it and say, oh, it's nice, I want to sell this house and it's in good shape. But there's some background that you can do to make sure that this investment, that's one of the most important, the most expensive investments that you will make in your life, is really what you think it is. And that's, to me, very important, because what you see is not always what you get. And again, having the right realtor, the right lender in place, you don't have to wait till the appraisal to find out that this house may not be the one for you or this value is not what's expected. New home purchase. I mean, that's primarily what I do, is sell new construction. And don't ever think because you only make a certain amount of money that you cannot afford a new home. You can. But what's important about that is that credit score. So I just want people to know, all of you that are on the line, that there are new construction homes that are available, just like Whitney told us about some financing programs that are available. They're not just people that are making, that want to purchase a $500,000 house. I basically sell everything, Kansas and Missouri. So far as I'm concerned, there is so much that has changed in the market that I can be on here for two hours today, 2 hours tomorrow, 2 hours Friday, but it goes on and on. But the main thing is get to a realtor, know your realtor, know that she's working for you, not just to get a paycheck. Whether you're buying or selling, know the area you want to move to. It's just all about research. I don't know how many times I've talked to someone about listing their house and they say, when I bought my house, nobody told me any of that, So education is the key. Credit is the key. And know that there's no limit of you being able to purchase a new home, you be able to refi your own home, be able to buy a investment home. There's options. And like Whitney said, what your grandma and your auntie told you, this is a whole new world. And we are here to stay. We will be home buyers and sellers forever. That's not going to change. But if you have any questions of any of us, we are available. Something else I wanted to talk to people about, what is up and coming, is cyber, just the whole cyber fraud and different things like that. Please be aware of that when you're buying or purchasing a home online, without talking to an actual mortgage lender, loan officer, and things like that, because there are things that are happening out there that are not for our good. And there's, people out there that's taking advantage of home buyers and sellers. So definitely, even if you apply for loans online, definitely talk to someone just so you can get the information that you need from them, know that it's accurate before you start putting all your information out there, because that is a trend that's out there, is fraud, just different things like that. I'm just trying to think of what else that I can tell you guys. Believe it or not, there are more homes available now than there were this spring. We're still in the multiple offer process when it comes to getting offers on home. Pretty much the average is about 3 offers per home. Earlier this spring, it was more like 20, 25. So things are changing. Let me see. Yes. What else? Mm, I don't know. I'm like, I was going to write down notes and I didn't. So basically, I will say if you are wanting to put your house on the market and you ever thought about it, now's a good time. Definitely, there's not a whole lot that we have to do, but definitely a good fall cleaning. I can't say spring because it's now fall. A good fall cleaning, walk in your house and say, would you buy this house, for this much? And if you didn't, or you point out things that you think you need to do, if to make it a house that you would buy, please do that. And think of it like that. What made you love this house when you first walked into it? Think about those things, because sometimes you talk to a seller and they're like, oh, I got to do this. Well, I didn't think I had to do anything because of the market. No, really. Those little tidy things, those are things you still have to do. Definitely things that you would have to do. So with that being said, I'm going to give it back to Whitney. Thank you for that introduction. Guys, I appreciate all your nuggets, and I hope you got something from me today concerning the market trends, buying and selling your home. And if you have any questions, please reach out to any one of us. I am available via Instagram, Facebook. You can also reach me at SeanP@ReeseNichols.com. And thank you guys for attending. Back at you, Whitney.
Lindsay's gonna go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Of course, great job, everybody. If you got something from the presentations that Miss Keisha, Mr. Whitney, and Sean gave, put some threes in the chat for me. We took care of the ones and twos, I think. I don't think we ever got threes. Put some threes in the chat because that was some really great information, and I hope that everyone took a lot away from that. One theme that I heard throughout this call was due diligence. Do your due diligence, do your work, know where you stand before you go in. Before you can even get started in this process, you need to know what your credit is and you need to make sure that you're saving. Like Whitney pointed out, you can make all the money that's available. If you are not financial literate and you don't know how to manage your money, you're not going to make any progress, any forward progress at least. So like I said, great job to everyone. Some other pointers that I took away that I think everyone should have taken away is don't be credit invisible. Whitney shared that great slide about credit myths. And to Sean's point, we are not living in our aunties and our dad and our papa's year. This is all new. So don't be credit invisible. Don't fall into the myths of closing credit cards or, not charging to your credit cards. Like Whitney said, go out, girl, buy that purse that you wanted, but just make sure you pay off your credit card so that it doesn't look bad to you. Something else that can improve your points by improve your credit score by 40 to 80 points. If you're paying rent right now, put a 2 in the chat and then hit up Mr. Whitney, Keisha, Sean, or myself, or Miss Ebony, or whoever invited you to this call, and take advantage of the Credit My Rent program. I'm in it right now. I owned a house for 10 years and I lost my house because I did what Sean said not to do, and I was house poor. And I found myself in a situation where I couldn't hold on to my house any longer. So I'm back on the track to try and own a home again. Because like I said, that is one of the biggest transfers of wealth and the easiest ways to build generational wealth for our children and leave a legacy for them. People have been doing it for years. And most importantly, the time is now. What are we waiting for? Sean, one of the questions that came up in the chat was, do you think it's more of a buyer's or seller's market right now?
Definitely a seller's. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, definitely a seller's market, meaning the sellers are doing less to sell their home because of the low inventory that's available for purchase.
So there you go. If you own a home right now and you're looking to sell, right now is the time. But it's also the time to start getting prepared if you want to become a homeowner.
Yes.
Don't wait until the market turns. Be prepared now. so that when the market turns, you're already ready. You know, go in with a plan, know where you stand. Don't go in and have the broker tell you what you need to do. You should go in already knowing these things. What else is there? Are there any more questions? If you have any specific questions for any of our presenters, please put them in the chat right now so we can try and get to them.
Bueller.
I know, right? Crickets.
During
Well, I
the-
wish.
You hear me?
Yep.
So you mentioned like the different programs. So what do you really look for or consider between the realtors and like the home buyer programs? Like what, I mean, of course, is it interest rates, low interest rates, or what is it that you really look for to weigh out your options with who to choose from, like the programs or the realtors, if that makes sense?
I would say first, you want me to speak, is look for your realtor first, because based upon your income, based upon your what you have to put down, what you save, these are questions your realtor is going to pre-answer or pre-ask you to know where you need to be. Do you have money saved up to put a down payment? What is your, income? Because some of these programs are income based. Some of these programs are based on where you live. So your realtor is probably going to be the first person that you contact, because a lot of these programs also are done by your lender. That certain lenders do certain different programs. I know Acorn is one of those ones where, you have a program, usually they give you a realtor. But whereas the other ones, the USDA, if you're a veteran, the VA, FHA, your agent is the one that's going to help you find out which program is going to be better for you.
I would expound on that. Get with a knowledgeable agent, because not all agents know about those programs, and not all agents are going to tell you the truth. These agents that I know, they're going to tell you the truth and what you have to deal with. We mentioned NACA and things like that, but like you said, everybody doesn't qualify for NACA. 1 second. So make sure that you do your due diligence. If you bond yourself with a great realtor who's knowledgeable, who tells the truth and has your best interests at heart, then you guys can approach different mortgage lenders, different houses, everything together. That's a great partnership to find until you get that great home that you're looking for.
So I think, again, the biggest thing, just to jump in real quick, is your family members or friends telling you, hey, you can do this program. And then you find out once you talk to the realtor that, no, you don't meet the criteria or the guidelines for that program. So we got to find you something else. So that goes back to the auntie, the uncle, the cousin that just bought a house last year. Talk to a realtor and a mortgage lender is going to be your best beginning point because of that reason. Everybody doesn't have the circumstance. Everybody cannot meet the same criteria for every program that they talk to you about.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Awesome, awesome. And I want to remind everyone, Mr. Morgan asked you all to do something after this call, and that is determine what your debt to income ratio is. Know where you're starting off with, so you can know what step, what direction you need to take that first step in. If you need to be saving more, if if your debt to income ratio is great, who doesn't want to pay off their debt? But know where you stand. I think that's definitely the most important thing that I took from this whole program. Thank the presenters again for giving us all of this great information. But one of the most important things I took away from this was to be confident and know where you stand. Know your own circumstance. Don't go into this letting someone else tell you what you qualify for. Know where, know your own thing. Know where you stand, know your debt to income ratio, know your credit score. So I don't know if Whitney, you want to add anything else before we close out?
No, I just want to say awesome job, everybody on the team. This was a great event, and we are recording as well. If you are a guest on the line, definitely check the chat right now. We put a link in there to set up a credit consultation, a free credit consultation with any of us. Make sure you reference the person who invited you to the webinar, who invited you. We're going to get you a free credit consultation. We're going to see what's currently negatively affecting your credit. What do you need? Maybe your credit invisible, like Lindsay said, and we're going to get you in the program and get you started right, guys. And then also, if you're looking for a realtor, talk to Lakeisha, talk to Sean. I know, like, and trust these people. That's what you want to do business with people you know, like, and trust. And we do it. We're here at UWE, guys. So definitely thank you for joining us. Set up your free credit consultation. And that's all I got. We're going to be gone on this number right here. If I can find it, I can't. Real quick. Let me see.
Must be a good one.
Oh, no. We're just the same thing we came in on.
It's a good one.
Oh, dang it.
Good job, everyone.
Good
We gotta
job. Thank you guys for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you, everybody, for
Thank you, Whitney.
coming.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And I hope someone got some nuggets out of this.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Invite me to y'all housewarmings.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm happy. If you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Now if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.